How will the interim budget impact the middle class, especially the segment of middle class that struggles to fulfill its dreams? While the development of infrastructure and expansion and upscaling of railways and airports with air connectivity impacts almost every productive citizen of the country, these enhancements make the realization of aspirations of the middle class possible. Now let's look at a few life-changing announcements for the middle class. Firstly, the biggest dream of Indian middle class, a home. The finance minister said the government will help in achieving this dream, that is housing for the middle class, that is living in rented accommodation or slums or unauthorized colonies to build or buy their own houses. Nirmala Sitharaman said during the budget speech that PM Awas Yojana Gramin is close to achieving 3 crore houses and another 2 crore houses will be taken up in the next 5 years. She said, our government will launch a scheme to help deserving sections of middle class to buy or build their own houses.
Namaste. My name is Nayan Raheja. Today's budget is an interim budget and that too just before the election. Therefore, the government has tried to touch every corner of society and provide some form of incentives. Regarding real estate, specifically for the middle and lower middle classes, the Honorable FM has set a direction by stating that a scheme will be introduced which will encourage people who are living on rent or living in slums or living in unauthorized colonies to purchase their own homes. It has also been stated that there has been an increase of up to 50% in people's incomes. Both these announcements make it clear that in the coming years, the work of real estate development will accelerate. And at the same time, the dream of every family wanting to own their own home will be realized.
The government may not have made any changes to the tax slabs and given any rebates like the last budget, but it is working towards easing the burdens of taxpayers. Those who have been stuck in tussles with the tax department for many years will get relief. The government is proposing to withdraw all cases of petty, non-verified, disputed direct tax demands. Some of these demands date back to 1962. Direct tax demands up to 25,000 rupees, up to financial year 2009-10 and up to 10,000 rupees for financial year 2010 and 11 will be withdrawn. This step by the government will benefit 1 crore taxpayers and ease their refunds, which might be stuck for decades.
Considering it was an interim budget, there have not been many changes which have been announced in the budget. There have only been 2 changes announced. The first one is that if there is a tax demand, the government has waived off that previous pending tax demand. So if the tax demand was for financial year 2009-10 or before that, and it was less than 25,000 rupees, government has completely waived it off. And if it was for the financial year 2010 to 2015 and it was up to 10,000 rupees, again government has completely waived it off. This comes as a huge benefit for people and this will benefit up to 1 crore taxpayers, that is the government's projection. The second benefit is the startup tax exemption. So earlier what the law used to say was that if you've registered a startup, then you are eligible for a startup tax exemption, but the registration for the startup should happen before 31st March 2024. Now the timeline has been extended and now the revised timeline is 31st March 2025. So even if the company or the startup is registered by 31st March 2025, you are still eligible to claim the startup tax exemption. So these were the only 2 changes. We are expecting more changes in the next budget, which is likely to come after the elections.
Now last year, Finance Minister had proposed to deploy about 100 joint commissioners for disposal of small appeals so as to reduce the pendency of appeals at commissioner level and promised to be selective in taking up cases for scrutiny. The minister also hailed the next generation common IT return form for taxpayers that was rolled out last year. The minister focused on telling the people how it's made compliance easy. Now let's talk about the women. The women of the middle class who have an entrepreneurial outlook also have something to look forward to. Lakhpati Didi scheme that was launched last year benefits many women and helps them become financially secure. The goal of this scheme is to enable Lakhpati Didis or the women working with self-help groups to earn sustainable income of at least 1 lakh per year by starting micro enterprises. The government increased the ambit of this scheme and its initial target of enabling 2 crore women was increased to 3 crore. Another big announcement benefiting women was that the Ayushman Bharat healthcare scheme is being extended to all Asha and Anganwadi workers. These workers work under poor conditions, are given meager insurance cover, and are also not entitled to social security. Now, all eyes are on June, after the elections, for the full budget. And all hopes are on the reduction of tax burdens, especially for the struggling middle class. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and for more news updates, subscribe to India Today.